I'm delighted to be joined by Senator Alex Antic. Welcome, Senator. Great to have you on Bernardi again. You ready to answer some big questions?
I am. I'm great to be here, Corey, and glad to see we've gone and got the same haircut this week, which is very reassuring. Thank you for making me feel at home.
Two for the price of one. I think mine was somewhat cheaper than yours. All right, let's kick it off. James asks, are we going to be sending troops to the Ukraine? Now, this is something that's got a lot of people talking. What do you think about it, Alex?
Well, the Prime Minister says we're not, and I hope he's right, and I hope he finally sticks to his word on something. This in particular, I don't ever want to see Australian troops going to Eastern Europe to fight in what is basically a border skirmish or anything, really. I mean, I don't see the necessity for that, and I really don't want to see Australian lives lost on a battlefield far away again anytime soon. So, look, let's hope that's right. I know we're sending troops there to train Ukrainian forces, and that's a decision of government. But look, we don't need to see Aussie lives set out onto a battlefield far away. It's you know, we've got enough things to do in our own backyard, and we've got to decide what works for Australia militarily as well. And let's keep those troops at home.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I know a lot of Australians do too. Okay, Rob asks, why is Albanese not visiting flood areas? Now, this has been put to me by a few people. I mean, they criticise ScoMo for not being there for the bushfires. They've got these terrible floods, and Albo's playing cricket in the backyard at Kirribilli.
Yeah, well, it's actually a really easy question to answer. The answer is a simple one. There are no international celebrities in Lismore at the moment or anywhere else that's been flood affected. So the best thing to do to get the Prime Minister to visit there, I suspect, is get Shaquille O'Neal there first, or go off and find Vladimir Zelensky and get him in his little green shirt and put him there. Or alternatively, someone like Bono, or maybe Sean Penn, someone like that. That'll get him out of the cricket in the backyard any day of the week, because we know how much Albo loves mingling with the global elites. So let's get him out there and give him dangle some international celebrity cheese in front of him, and you'll get him there.
Yeah. Or maybe Peter Garrett, just send him down there, because Albo was daggy dad dancing to some at Midnight Oil the other day. Okay, now I expect a pretty strong reaction from you on this. Tom asks, what was your reaction to the Pfizer video from the EU interrogation this week? Now, you're a bloke who stuck to his guns on this. I have to say, I think you've been proved absolutely correct, and you've asked very similar questions of our own bureaucrats. What is your response to this Pfizer video?
Well, look, I feel like this is the moment in which people who stood for medical autonomy and wanted people to be able to make their own decisions are feeling vindicated. I'm getting a lot of correspondence to that effect, and they should be too. For those who haven't seen it, of course, this is a video in which I think a Dutch parliamentarian, member of the European Parliament, questions a Pfizer executive about the issue of transmission and vaccination. And she says it was never tested. We never tested it for its efficacy on transmission. Now, we've known that for 12 months, but for some reason, the health bureaucrats in this country and those who seek to enforce mandates on people based largely on the premise that you're saving other people's lives, and in many cases, I think, knowing that to be utterly false, are now looking pretty silly. I think, Corey, this has been a pretty important week, and my message would be, if you're one of those people out there, or you're a boss, or you're someone who has shamed, called people names for simply the fact of wanting to go out and make their own decisions, give someone a call you've called that, that you've said that to tomorrow, and apologise, because they were on the right side of history, not you.
Tell me, Senator, I've seen some of the footage that you've put on Facebook about you grilling our own health bureaucrats about this. They've said that there was a reduced transmission, the test had all been done basically, and yet when they answered the question more formally, they said a modest reduction in transmission. I mean, that's akin to saying next to none in bureaucratic speak. What are you going to do about it from here?
Look, I think there's some questions to be asked. I think, and if we went back and picked through the evidence that's been given through Senate estimates and other processes, I think we'd find, similar statements that have now proven to be incorrect. So, look, I think there are some questions to be asked of some of the evidence that's been given. I certainly intend to ask those questions and to make it known that I think that what we've seen over the last period has been a real dumbing down of the science, sidestepping of the science. And as I've said many times before, I think what we've seen over the last 2 years or so is the very real realisation that science is now politics in this country and around the world. There are a lot of political statements that were made when we're used to having blind scientific explanations given. So look, watch this space, Corey. I'm going to be making some inquiries about that.
Yeah, I think people will be very interested. Okay, Peter asks, is Albanese going to tax our agriculture like Ardern is in New Zealand? This burp tax on cows, it'll be terrible for our agricultural industry. What's your take?
Yeah, look, he says he's not. I guarantee you he will. This is coming down the pipeline. Farmers are in the gun sights. We have to protect our farmers, but ultimately this climate change agenda, if continuing to be pressed, will gobble up farmers and farms. And look at what's happening in the Netherlands. Look at what's happening in Sri Lanka. We're seeing this as the next logical push, trying to stop people from farming cattle, pushing the Dutch farmers off their land. So look, this business about committing to a 30% reduction, I think 100 countries across the world are saying the same thing. Corey, this is madness, absolute madness. The sooner the Australian people wake up and realise that they are being swindled on this net zero climate change nonsense, the better. And I don't know, I mean, we've seen it so heavily indoctrinated through schools and through our institutions and through our parliaments that it's hard to know where this stops. But people need to wake up pretty soon because our food security and the integrity of our farms is on the line. And my message to farmers is, you've got to get moving. You've got to get involved in politics. You've got to start understanding what's going on because they're coming for you.
Absolutely. It's not only food security, power security, our national security. It's all up for grabs with this net zero stuff. Alex, I've got to let you go.